Alright, I'm making this video about recovering from a stroke and my own stroke recovery. My my advice when it comes to having a stroke is don't have one. um, yeah. But anyway, since I didn't even take my own advice, my number two piece of advice when it comes to having a stroke and recovery is work as hard as you've ever worked in your entire life when it comes to recovering from a stroke. Because you never know when you're going to have a breakthrough and get back a lot of what you lost in your stroke. You never know when that's going to happen. You might work really hard for a long time and it seems like you make a little bit of improvement, and then all of a sudden overnight, boom, you can do a lot more than you could before. Some more advice that I have for people if you are recovering from a stroke is the life you knew, the life you had before your stroke is over. It is gone. You are never, ever, ever going to be the same as you were before your stroke. Okay? Your life's totally different. Your life as you knew it is over. It's gone, dead, whatever. Um, you will never be, your life will never be the same after a stroke. No matter if you get back to almost completely normal or not. Okay? You will have changed in some ways because of your stroke that, some ways it's good. In a lot of ways it's bad. You know, you don't miss something until you lose it, until you don't have it anymore. You know, you take so much for granted before you have a stroke. You take things that you do all the time for granted, that you can do easily for granted. Okay? Like walking, for instance. You take that for granted so much. And then all of a sudden you have a stroke and you can't walk anymore. You have a hard time walking. I mean, it's next, walking normally is next to impossible right after you have a stroke. I mean, it pretty much is impossible after you have a stroke. You know, yeah, it's just amazing how much you take for granted until you lose it. Just being healthy, just being able to take care of yourself, not being taken care of. Um, yeah. So anyway, yeah. When it comes to my stroke, you know, um, this is the amazing part. I did not know that I'd had a stroke until a full week after I had it. Let me say that again. I didn't realize that I'd had a stroke until a week after I had it. Okay? Because I had it when I was sleeping um, I had a weird dream. I woke up and that was a weird, I was like, man, that was a weird dream. And I didn't have a headache. I didn't have, one of my sides of my face wasn't, I didn't have weakness in one side or the other. Um, I don't remember that I did. You know, when it comes to having a stroke, I had one symptom. One. That's it. And then I couldn't walk. I had to like walk next to my wall here to get around here after my stroke. Um, that's the only symptom I had. And so I just said, well, I can't call in and not work. So I just went, I had a temp job that day and I went to work. And I just had to sit at a desk and, you know, people worked. Um, it was a Topper's Car Show in West Fargo at their high school hockey arena next to the high school, West Fargo High School. And so anyway, I just sat at a desk and worked as a temp, worked a Saturday, no problem. Then Sunday morning is when I had my stroke. And so I sat at a desk, and if they worked, excuse me, so anyway, if they were working at the car show, they had a wristband. They had a little wristband that they would just show me, and it's like, okay, if they didn't and they were coming to the car show, they would just give me. I'm trying to remember how much admission cost, like $5 or $10, I think, or $11, something like that. So they'd give me some money, and I'd give them a ticket, and that's pretty much all I had to do all day. You know, didn't have to do anything else. Um, you know, so I didn't have to walk very much. But even when I did, I had a hard time walking. I had to walk next to a wall and, you know, to get to where I was going. And so anyway, I got through the day. Um, got through the day, got off a half an hour early, went home, stopped at Cashwise, which is about a mile north of where I live, on 13th Avenue. So anyway, stopped at Cashwise, got a paper, drove home, took it easy the rest of Sunday. Monday, I just went and dropped my time card off for the Saturday and Sunday I worked at the car show at the temp company I worked for. Went and got a paper on Monday, drove home, took it easy, didn't do much, didn't feel very well, didn't feel very good. Just took it easy. Tuesday, still wasn't feeling very good. It still felt like crap. Cool. Oh, excuse me. Called my mom up, and she said to call one of my cousins in West Fargo, and so I did that. And he had been in the Air Force, and he picked me up. And since I had been in the Navy, I went to the emergency room at the VA hospital here in Fargo. And so we did that. He had some things he had to do there too. Um, so anyway, went to the ER. The doctor was thinking it was probably the flu. And he's like, "Oh, it just takes a few days to let it run its course, and you'll be okay." I'm like, "Okay." So I went home, took it easy. The rest, he said, like, "Take it easy, don't do much." Oh, okay. Um, that was Tuesday. Wednesday, still wasn't feeling very good. Still pretty sick. Um, tried to drink water, couldn't keep it down. Tried to eat something, threw it back up again. Um, so he's thinking it's a flu, no problem. But I don't ever remember having the flu where I had a hard time walking. I never remember that being the case. So anyway, yeah, Wednesday I called my parents up again, and this time both my mom and my dad came and picked me up and brought me to the ER. And so that was Wednesday, and the doctor said, well, oh, just drink more water. Same doctor, um, saying, oh, it just takes a couple days to run its course and you'll be okay. Well, I could barely walk, you know. And so anyway, I knew it wasn't the flu, but he gave me some suppositories to use, and I did that, and that solved the problem of not being able to drink or eat anything. Um, so that solved that problem. But then I still wasn't feeling very well. I still couldn't walk very well. Um, I had to use my mom's walker if I had to go to the bathroom. Um, and so that was Wednesday. And I was there Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. And I still wasn't any better. I still, I had the suppositories fixed the problem of not being able to keep anything down, but I still couldn't walk very well, still felt awful. Um, then my mom called a nurse, and the nurse said to check my blood pressure. And my blood pressure was 180 over 140, which, if you see anybody with that high of blood pressure, go to the ER like ASAP, and don't go, oh yeah, you'll get over it. No. Go to ER right away. And so that's what the nurse said to do, told my mom to do. And so we did that. Um, we went back to the ER in Fargo. Um, and so anyway, it was late Saturday night by the time I finally did see the doctor. And it was a different doctor than the one that I had seen Tuesday and Wednesday. And so the doctor was like, you've been here 3 times since Tuesday. You've been here Tuesday, Wednesday, and today. It's like something. And so he said, something's wrong. We got to figure this out. And he said, so we can admit you to the hospital, and then we can do run some tests and see what's wrong. And I said, yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I was sick of being so sick. It's like, we gotta figure this out. I mean, it's like, come on, this ain't the flu, you know. And so they admitted me late Saturday night, almost a week to the day before when I had my stroke. Then after that is when the neurologist at the VA hospital had me do a CAT scan, and that came up normal. That came up like, oh, nothing's wrong, you know. But she still said that based upon your symptoms, I still think you had a stroke. And so she ordered another CAT scan, and this one was with dye. Okay, and so anyway, you've got two blood vessels going up the back of your neck, one on each side. And anyway, she could in the CAT scan, she could see one of them, but she could not see the other one with the dye. And that's when she knew that absolutely, without a doubt, I'd had a stroke. And that was a full week after I had it. Okay. You know, there's just so many people that have strokes, and you know, if they don't know about it for until a week after, it's like the stroke has done so much damage that, you know, they are completely and totally helpless. You know, their stroke has taken away their ability to take care of themselves, has taken away their ability to walk, to probably talk, to do a lot of things. And there was an article in the Fargo Forum. I eventually ended up, after my stay at the Fargo Hospital, VA Hospital, I ended up at the North Dakota Veterans Nursing Home down in Lisbon. And so anyway, I ended up down there. And in that time, during that time, there's an article in there about the assistant fire chief for the Fargo Fire Department. And he had had a stroke in his brainstem. And he can't take care of himself, he can't walk, he can't, he can't walk, he can't talk, he can't take care of himself. I mean, it wiped him out completely. I mean, his life is totally changed, you know. And he had a stroke in the worst possible location. He had a stroke in his brainstem. So anyway, he, you know, I mean, sometimes you can work as hard as you possibly can, you know, when you have a stroke. But that doesn't matter. That, you know, you can still lose almost everything, you know. You can still lose almost all of your ability. You can lose your, you know, being able to talk, being able to eat, being able to take care of yourself. You know, I mean, it just depends on where and, you know, where and when you have your stroke, you know. I mean, yeah, so anyway, you know, I mean, but you never know, you know. Doctors can tell you, oh no, you'll never be able to do this, you'll never be able to do that. You know, well, work as hard as you can at your recovery and prove them wrong, okay? That's my advice. That's the advice that I would give anyone that has a stroke. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. You know, and when it comes to a stroke, it's like you have to work as hard as you can every single day at your recovery. If you don't, you will lose the ability to do some things. You know, the level that you're at, if you work, you know, if you were at this level and all of a sudden you work up to almost, you know, just a little bit below, you know, that's good. But then if you take it easy, then pretty soon this is going to be your new standard and you're going to lose everything, you know, lose the ability to do some things, you know. Right now, my balance and equilibrium aren't as good as they should be. I need to work a lot harder. I need to work harder every day to get to be better than I have been. So anyway, yeah, you've got to listen to a lot of songs that reinforce your attitude of being able to do it, of being able to come back. You know, songs like Overcomer. I was thinking about that song every day I went to physical rehab, physical therapy. Every day when I was walking, you know, there's a ramp close to the room where they do the physical therapy, physical rehab. And I walked up and down and up and down and up and down several times. I mean, my first week in the hospital, at the VA hospital, my first week, I was wheeled everywhere I went. You know, I had to have someone wheel me everywhere I went, you know, that first week, because I could not do it myself. Well, maybe I could. But anyway, yeah, so I had to, the first few weeks, I had someone wheel me everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, you know, I had someone wheel me there. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to lose something you take for granted, like walking, and having to start, you know, learning how to do that all over. Not learning, but, you know, going from barely walking to being able to walk. You know, I went from being wheeled everywhere I went to wheeling myself everywhere I went to using a walker and needing to use that everywhere I went to not needing the walker but taking it anyway just in case I did, to not even having to take my walker when I went somewhere. You know, I mean, that's where I was, and when I was discharged from the VA hospital, you know, and I'll show you that. I'll show you something. I got something to show you. And there you go. You can still. Yeah, this is the walker I got when I was at the VA hospital that they gave me. You know, you can see my name still on it, so you know it's mine. But you also see that it's nicely folded up too. Okay? And there's a reason for that. And I will tell you the reason. And that reason is as a symbol of how far I've come after my stroke. You know, I will never get rid of that thing the rest of my life. You know, because it's a symbol of how far, what I've had to overcome, you know, what I've had to do to get to where I am. You know, I mean, when I was first at the VA hospital, I couldn't even take a shower without a nurse being there to help me shower. You know, I had a nurse give me a sponge bath the first week I was there. Because I couldn't walk. I, you know, I used that walker, and that was the only. I had a nurse helping me. That was the only way I could get to the bathroom. You know, to take a sponge bath. You know, and that's how far I've come. You see me walking now, you would never guess that I had a stroke 2 years ago. April 3rd, 2016 was when the day I had my stroke. And you watch me walking, you never guess. You see me running, you'd be like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Because I haven't run very much. Actually, I should go jogging during the day quite a bit. But, yeah. But I live on my own. I take care of myself. I get a ride to church on Sundays. Well, that is when the guy who gives me a ride, he lives in my building here. Yeah, he gives me a ride to church. But other than that, I've got nobody to do anything else for me. Okay? I mean, I had a lady a nurse, do my meds for me, but then Sanford, the people who, where she was from, they were like, oh, he doesn't need a nurse to do his meds, he can do it himself. Okay. Even they realize that I'm better than 95% of the people I work with. The people who have in-home nursing care are like in their 70s or 80s, and for the most part, a lot of them can't take care of themselves. A lot of them are probably taken care of, But I'm one of them that isn't. I'm one of the few that doesn't need someone to do that for me, And even when they said that I could have a nurse come and do my meds for me, I was like, well, I can do it myself, but I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. But yeah, anyway, yeah. I mean, I've been living back on my own. This is the same place I was when I had my stroke. The same place. Okay. So I am taking care of myself. I'm living on my own. I do all my laundry myself. I do all my cooking myself. I go to the store myself. Everything I do, except for driving, I do myself. And I took the drive behind the wheel one time. They keep saying I took the test twice and I failed it both times, but it's like, okay, wait a minute. I mean, I only remember behind the wheel one time, taking that one time. But they said I can take it again if I pay for it. Which is, I don't think is right. But, hey, if that's what it takes to be able to if I have to pay for taking the test and passing it and getting my license back, I will do it. I'll take the test. If I fail, wait a year, take it again. If I fail, then it's like, oh, okay. Then I'll face the fact that I'll never be able to drive again. But anyway, there's a doctor that said that I hadn't improved a great deal to be able to take the test again. It's like, well, but I'm almost back to the way it was before I had the stroke. How can you improve a great deal when you're almost back to normal? Okay, how do you do that? I don't know. But anyway, yeah. But let's see. But anyway, as I said earlier, my advice when it comes to having a stroke is work as hard as you possibly can in your rehab. In your ability of trying to get things back that you could before you had the things you could do before you had your stroke. Work as hard as you ever worked in your life. Never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. You can do it. And maybe you aren't going to have very much improvement, but I don't know that. Maybe you've lost a lot. Maybe you've lost a lot of ability, and it takes a long time to get the little things back. But do it. Do it anyway. Because you never know. You never know when you're going to have that breakthrough and be able to do a lot more than you could up to that point. I mean, man, you need to accept the fact your life is never going to be the same ever again. That's a fact. That is just reality. You are living in a new world the day after, after your stroke. It's not right. It's not fair. It sucks. You're going to miss a lot of the things that you could do at one time. But if you work hard and work as hard as you can, work as hard as you ever worked, you might be able to get those things back. I can't tell you that you won't. Your doctor can't tell you that. I mean, do it. Just get out there and go to rehab and work your butt off. Never give up. Never give up hope. Never give up hope that you can do it. Because you might be able to prove all the naysayers wrong. Everyone that says, oh no, you can't do this, prove them wrong. Prove them that you can do it. You can make it. You can overcome. And listen to the song Overcomer a lot. If you can in rehab, have that song playing all the time, okay? have that song playing constantly. If you know, if you have a choice in the matter, if you can, have the song Overcomer by Mandisa playing all the time. You know, if the people who you're working with will let you, you know. But anyway, yeah, never give up hope. You know, no matter what you can, no matter the smallest amount you get back, it's better than none at all. Okay? You know, no matter how hard you have to work, just do it. You know, overcome what, overcome your stroke and how it's affected you. You know, I don't have anybody taking care of me. I just have one guy driving me to work and not to work, to church, you know. And there's some other things we go to as well that he drives me to. But, you know, never give up hope, you know. You never know. You know, any small amount of improvement is better than being where you were when you had the stroke. You know, I mean, yeah, but this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever gone through in your life. And that is no lie. That is no lie. To work as hard as I did in the VA hospital, that was not easy. Oh my gosh. It is so much easier just to wave the white flag, just to give up, just to wave your hands and go, I surrender, you know, I can't do this. You know, it's easy to do that. You know, but another song I love is by Sarah Bareilles. How do you see her last name? Well, anyway, Sarah B is her name, and the song is Brave. Yep. Be brave in fighting the fight of trying to overcome your stroke. Be brave, be a warrior. Never give up hope. You know, trust in God to give you the strength to keep fighting the good fight against your stroke every day. You know. Yeah. Anyway, this is a long video, but anyway. Yeah. But anyway, I can do a lot of things now that I couldn't do when I had my stroke. And I could have taken it easy too. I could have taken it so easy, and you know, but I was like, there's no way. I'm not going to take it easy. I'm going to work as hard as I can. Work as hard as I've ever worked in my life. And that's what I did. And I can walk because of that. You know, I can walk a mile or two at a time if I have to. You know, to be able to do that. I mean, I should actually walk or jog, 5 miles a day. That's what I should do. I should lift weights, I should work out, there's a lot of things I should be doing that I don't. Anyway, yep. Having a stroke and recovering from a stroke is never easy. It is never going to be easy, you know. And like I said before, your life is changed forever, you know. If you've had a stroke, you need to accept that. You need to accept the new reality of your life. Okay? And the choice is up to you. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to fight and work as hard as you can to recover as much of your old life as you possibly can? Or are you going to wave the white flag, give up, and just sit in your wheelchair and stay there the rest of your life? You know, because you will never get out of your wheelchair if you take it easy and you don't work very hard. Okay? You can get used to being in your wheelchair the rest of your life, because that is where you'll be if you don't work hard. If you don't work hard in physical therapy to get back as much of your ability as you had before your stroke as you can. You know. It's up to you. It's totally up to you, whatever you want to do. I can't make that decision for you. Your physical therapist can't either. Your nurses can't. Your doctor can't. You have to make that decision. You make that decision to either work as hard as you can so you can get out of that wheelchair and walk, or if you're going to take the easy road. Okay? The hard road is to work hard. It's not the easy road. The easy road is just to wave the white flag, surrender, and say, this is my life, the rest of my life. That's the way it goes. You know? Or you could work as hard as you can to get as much back from your life before you had the stroke as possible. You know? And let me tell you a story about my recovery. When I moved back here from the nursing home, my family wasn't sure I would be able to take care of myself or not. They weren't quite sure if I'd be able to do it or not. You know, if they had had a vote, you know, I've got 2 parents and 4 brothers and 1 sister. Okay, so there's 8 of us in our family. If we'd had a vote, if all 8 of us had had a vote, it might have been 7-1 against moving back. Okay, 7 to vote, you know, to stay in the nursing home and to stay there the rest of my life, and 1 to move back here. But we didn't have a vote. Thankfully, the 1 vote would have been mine, and that was the only vote that mattered, because I knew I didn't have to. I was paying someone to take care of me, to do things for me that I could do myself. You know, I had someone cooking my meals. I had somebody cleaning my room. It'd be nice to have that. It'd be nice to be in a nursing home where you are taken care of 24/7, 7 days a week. You know, you sign out to leave, but other than that, you know, you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about the meals. You just show up, eat the food at the right time, you know, and someone cleans your room once a week. changes your linens, changes your bed, you know, you know, who wouldn't want that the rest of their life? Yeah, almost everybody except me, because I knew didn't need that. I knew I could do those things myself, you know. So, when the weather got nicer, when it got to be somewhat nicer, is March 2nd, 2017, is the day I moved back here. And that is the day, I was like, thanks for everything, see you later, you know. But yeah, anyway, yeah, my family, if they'd had a choice, a vote in the matter, I'd still be at the nursing home. They're like, oh, you can't take care of yourself, you know. And anyway, so that's where I'd be. I'd still be in a nursing home right now if the naysayers had their voice, had their say, So if you're recovering from a stroke, get out there and prove the naysayers wrong about what you can do and how far you can go. I'm living proof that you can prove them wrong, that you can do it, because the naysayers were saying, oh, that I couldn't take care of, were questioning whether I could take care of myself. Well, I've been back on my own for a year, so I pretty much proved them all wrong about that. They might not have, they probably weren't believing that I couldn't take care of myself, but they wondered whether I could or not. They had some doubts. Well, I proved them totally wrong that I couldn't. That they should have any questions, And I've got a girlfriend that lives in Arizona, and I want to go down there and be with her and save up the money and get married. To be with her and to live in Arizona where the weather is either too hot sometimes or it's great, or it's perfect. So, anyway. And my family doesn't want me to do that either, because they're like, oh no, you can't do that. You need to be in a place that's paid for, that's taken care of. It's like, oh man. So anywho, prove the naysayers wrong. Get out there and do it. Prove them wrong. Fight for the things you think you can do. That's why I've had to fight to be able to take the driving test. I failed it once. It's like, well, okay. If I do the same thing again, if I take it again, and I fail it for the same reason, fail it and then take it a year later, I fail it then, well, then I would have to face the fact that maybe I won't be able to drive the rest of my life. But I'm not giving up hope. I'm gonna keep fighting to be able to drive until I can. Just because you can try something and fail doesn't mean you will fail forever. Keep working at it. Keep fighting, keep working, because someday you might be able to do it. That's why I'm willing to pay to take the driving test. Because of that. Because failing it once or failing it twice is not forever. You know? Anyway. Yep. So don't give up hope. Believe in yourself. You know, Winston Churchill gave the greatest commencement speech of all time in the 1950s at a college in Missouri. He said, never, ever, ever give up. That was his entire speech. But what it lacked in length, it made up for in how awesome that speech was. Because you can apply that speech, every single person can apply that speech to almost every aspect of their life. If you're a stroke victim, you can apply that to your life every single day, the rest of your life. Never, ever, ever give up. Never, ever, ever take it easy. You know, keep up the fight.